Coming into college out of shape, Stephen Strasburg would change and became the highest touted pitching prospect in decades. But with all that talent, he was derailed by the same arm injuries that had plagued so many other pitchers, and a good career that could have been much more. So let's look at what happened to Stephen Strasburg.
Totally sports-esque. Major League.
Stephen Strasburg was born in San Diego. He attended West Hills High School in Santee, California, and it took some time to develop. As a junior, he went 1-10, but as a senior, things would change. He finished the season with a 1.68 ERA, 74 strikeouts in just over 62 innings, and he set multiple school records, earning some attention from scouts. He was not selected in the 2006 MLB draft, and after not being accepted at Stanford, he stayed close to home and enrolled at San Diego State, where he played under the Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn. But early on, things were not easy. He was 30 pounds overweight and clearly out of shape, his conditioning coach giving him the nickname of Slothberg. He even moved out of his dorm after just 5 days, overwhelmed by the college life. But he did not quit, and instead he got serious. He lost those 30 pounds, worked on his mental game, and by the end of his freshman year, he was dominating as a closer. Opponents hit just 141 against him, and he was named the Mountain West Co-Freshman of the Year. And after dominating the New England Collegiate Baseball League, by his sophomore year, he transitioned into a starting role, posting a 1.58 ERA, striking out 134 batters in 99 innings, and he garnered national attention when he struck out 23 batters in a single game against Utah. And his fastball was now regularly hitting triple digits. He was the only amateur player on the U.S. Olympic team in 2008, which won him a bronze medal, and that led him into his junior season, which was one of the best ever by a college pitcher. He went 13-1 with a 1.32 ERA, almost striking out 2 batters per inning. On May 8th, he threw a no-hitter against Air Force with 17 strikeouts. Even in his only loss against Virginia in the regionals, he still struck out 15. He'd end up winning the Dick Howser Trophy and was named National Pitcher of the Year, gaining massive hype as one of the best prospects seen in decades, and for good reason. In the 2009 MLB draft, he would be selected first overall by the Washington Nationals, signing for a record-setting $15.1 million over 4 years, a deal negotiated right down to the wire by none other than Scott Boras. By the spring of 2010, he was already turning heads in Nationals camp, but they were of course cautious. Rather than rush him to the major leagues, the team sent him to the minors to start the season. He was named the number 2 prospect in baseball heading into the season, right behind Jason Hayward. He made his professional debut on April 11th in AA, and attention followed him everywhere he went. About 70 credentialed members of the media were there, and ESPN aired portions of the game, a big deal in the time. And he did not disappoint. He struck out 8 batters in 5 innings, touched 100 miles per hour, and even doubled in a run at the plate. And over the next couple of months, he continued to dominate with tons of attention. His first AAA start in Syracuse, drawing the highest attendance in the 135-year history of baseball in the city, finishing his minor league stint with a 7-2 record, an ERA of 1.3 over 55.1 innings, with 65 strikeouts. And it was clear he was ready for the major leagues. On June 8th, he made his major league debut in Washington, D.C., and it was called the most hyped pitching debut the game has ever seen, an event labeled as Strasmus. And it lived up to the hype and then some. He would go 7 innings, did not walk a single batter, and struck out 14. Setting the team's strikeout record in his debut, becoming the first to strike out 11 and walk 0 in a debut, while falling one short of the all-time debut strikeout record. But for J.R. Richard and Carl Spooner, they both pitched 9 innings. He touched 98 in 34 of his 94 pitches, an uncommon sight for a starting pitcher, and one of the most dominant debuts in baseball history. And he just got better. In his second start, he struck out 8 more against Cleveland, then 10 against the White Sox. By the time he took the mound for the 4th time, he had 41 strikeouts, more than any pitcher ever through their first 3 career games. He was already on the Sports Illustrated cover, and his jersey was the most popular in all of baseball in the month of June. He was somehow living well past the massive hype. But then came the first warning sign. He was scratched from a start on July 27th with shoulder tightness. He returned briefly, but on August 21st, he left the game with a strained forearm, and the MRI revealed the worst, a torn UCL. And what seems just a given for any pitcher now, it was time for Tommy John, and his season was over. He finished with a 5-3 record and a 2.91 ERA in 12 starts. Even in that short time, it was enough to be named to the top all-rookie team. The surgery was performed on September 3rd. It will take 12 to 8 months to recover, but he was thrown off a mound by May of 2011. On August 7th, just 11 months after surgery, he would pitch in the minors. And on September 6th, he returned to the majors, and he would throw 5 scoreless innings against the Dodgers. Then on the final day of the season, he struck out 10 and will pick up a win. And by 2012, he was fully back, and he was to lead the rotation of a young Nationals team that was a real contender, with another #1 pick with massive hype that was about to make his debut that year, and Bryce Harper. He started opening day for the Nationals for the first time, and by the end of April, he was the NL Pitcher of the Month, as he became the first to reach 100 strikeouts. And at the All-Star break, in 99 innings, he had a 2.82 ERA while striking out 128 and walking just 28, leading him to his first All-Star selection. But looming over everything was his innings limit. The Nationals had decided before the year began that they would shut him down early to protect his arm. But as the Nationals surged towards the playoffs, that decision came under fire. Everyone from politicians to soap opera actors made comments on the decision, but the Nationals wanted to protect his future and stood firm on their decision. In September, with the playoffs in reach, Strasburg was shut down for the season. That decision came under more fire when the Nationals would be eliminated in the first round, but the organization stood by their decision. In 2013, he returned again to start opening day, and again he looked dominant, but a lack of run support and some arm tightness led to a frustrating first half and a frustrating season for the Nationals. He finished the season 8-9 with an ERA of 3 over 183 innings, a solid year with longevity, but not the one many expected. In 2014, he finally got a full year, and he had one of his best, leading the National League in strikeouts at 242 in 215 innings, which were both career highs, going 14-11 with a 3.14 ERA in 34 starts, helping the Nationals win the NL East for the second time in 3 years. And this time, he was available for the postseason. He started Game 1 of the division series against the Giants, and he took the loss after giving up 2 runs in 5 innings, not getting another chance that year as the Nationals were swept. And in 2015, with Max Scherzer now a part of the rotation, the Nationals started strong, but Strasburg struggled. After 9 starts, he was 3-5 with a 6.5 ERA, and on May 30th in his 10th start, he lasted just 16 pitches due to a neck muscle issue, and he would be placed on the DL. He returned in late June, then made only 1 appearance in July. He would then return for good, and he finished the year 11-7 with 3.46 ERA, posting a 1.9 ERA over the second half. And after the season, he had a non-cancerous growth removed from his back, and that led him into what would be the prime of his career. That of course still came some stints on the DL. Strasburg began 2016 unbeaten in his first 2 months. On May 29th, a win over the Cardinals improved him to 9-0, and gave him a 12-game winning streak dating back to the previous year, tying a franchise record. On June 4th, he recorded his 1,000th career strikeout, but he left the game with pain after giving up a home run. He would return the next week, winning his 13th straight game, and after a no decision, he went on the DL for an upper back strain. He would come back July 3rd, and became the first NL pitcher since 1912 to start a season 12-0. He would be named an All-Star, but he declined to participate due to the issues in his back. His winning streak ended July 21st at 16 games, but he won NL Pitcher of the Month for July. But he went back to the DL in August with a sore elbow. He returned in September, but after leaving a start early, he would go right back. The Nationals won the NL East again, and again, he would miss the postseason as the Nationals lost in the division series. Again, as he finished the year 15-4 with a 3.6 ERA in 24 starts. He again started out strong in 2017 and would be named an All-Star for the 3rd time. He was back on the DL in late July, but he returned in August and began a team record 35 innings scoreless streak, which would end in September, finishing his finest year at 15-4 with an ERA of 2.52, striking out 204 over 175 innings, as he also led the league with a 2.72 FIP. He had his highest Cy Young finish at 3rd, with the award going to Max Scherzer, while Gio Gonzalez finished 6th. And with the elite rotation, in the postseason, he started Game 1 of the playoffs against the Cubs, allowing 2 runs over 7 and striking out 10, but he would receive the loss. And his next start would be his first elimination game, where he seemed to shine the brightest. At Wrigley Field, he went 7, gave up none, and he would strike out 12, as he would earn his first postseason win. But the Nationals lost the series in 5 games. 2018 was a rather disappointing follow-up. Injuries would limit him to 22 starts, going 10-7 with a 3.74 ERA and 156 strikeouts in 130 innings, as the Nationals missed the playoffs. So to that point, you can arguably say with the massive hype that Strasburg was a little disappointing, but it wasn't all his fault. Rather, that unfortunate injuries had prevented him from doing more. And bigger than that, Nationals fans were disappointed with the numerous young stars and top pitchers that had led to division titles, but they still had not won a playoff series as the Washington Nationals. And as their number 1 pick and Bryce Harper left the team, they knew there was still promise, and what was the year that changed the legacy of these Nationals teams, and Steven Strasburg. Amidst a disappointing start to the year for the Nationals, on May 2nd, he recorded his 1,500th strikeout, the fastest of all time, in just 1,272.1 innings. And on June 4th, he earned his 100th career win. On July 28th, he became the first pitcher with 14 wins, as he was named the NL Pitcher of the Month for July, finishing the year 18-6 with a 3.32 ERA, leading the league in wins and innings pitched. But it was the playoffs that fans will remember more than anything else. And that began with the wildcard game, Going up against the Brewers, Max Scherzer pitched alright, but not to his top standard, giving up 3 over 5. Meanwhile, the Nationals managed just one against Brandon Woodruff in the Brewers bullpen their weight. And from the 6th to the 8th, Strasburg would appear in relief, something he never did before, and he would pitch 3 scoreless innings. The unsung hero of the game, as the Nationals would make an 8th inning comeback against Josh Hader, and Strasburg ended up as the winning pitcher. They would then face the 106-win Dodgers, who just won back-to-back pennants. And after dropping Game 1, Game 2 on the road was massive, and Strasburg would deliver a 10-strikeout, 6-inning performance with just 1 run, as he ended up with his 2nd postseason win. And that series would go to a decisive Game 5 in LA, with Strasburg on the mound, and he delivered his worst performance of the postseason, which is saying a lot, going 6, giving up 3, and striking out 7. A quality start that kept him in the game, that important when Anthony Rendon and Juan Soto hit back-to-back home runs off Clayton Kershaw to tie the game. Then a Howie Kendrick grand slam would give the Nationals a series win, finally getting over the hump. The Nationals faced the Cardinals in the LCS, and after winning the first 2 on the road, Strasburg finally got to start at home, and with 8 runs in support, he would go 7, giving up 1 unearned run, and striking out 12. And the next night, the Nationals won their first and only pennant. And that led to the World Series against the Astros, where Strasburg truly became a legend. The Nationals again won Game 1 on the road, and Strasburg was on the mound on the road again. And it didn't start out good, as he gave up a 2-run home run to Alex Bregman. But he settled in after, going 6, working out of jams, striking out 7, with the home run the only runs he would give up. The Nationals then exploded after he left, and he would outduel Justin Verlander, getting a World Series win, which Verlander still didn't have at that point. But in a real oddity, the Nationals lost all 3 home games, putting Strasburg on the mound on the road again, in an elimination game again, also facing Justin Verlander again. And it was very similar to Game 2. He gave up 2 runs in the first, but he would settle in from there. Knowing this would probably be it for the season, Strasburg pitched to adversity, getting out of some jams, and with a few rallies, he pitched into the 9th with a 7-2 lead. He got the first batter on 2 pitches, and Dave Martinez decided to pull him. Everyone wishes he would have finished, but managers now take no chances, as he threw 104 pitches, went 8.1, gave up 2, and struck out 7. Given the circumstances, it was the best start in Nationals history, and it became even more iconic the next night, when the Nationals again rallied to the 7th, and they would beat the Astros in 7 games to win their first and only World Series title. And after pitching 14.1 innings, all on the road, giving up 4, and picking up 2 wins, he would be named World Series MVP, going 5-0 with a 1.98 ERA over 36 innings during the postseason. Those 5 wins are the most in a single postseason without a loss. Even though there were some ups and downs, this cemented his place as an absolute franchise legend. But unfortunately, this all did not have a great ending. The day after the World Series, Strasburg declined his contract option, becoming a free agent. Both he and the Nationals expressed interest in re-signing, and on December 9th, they agreed on a 7-year, $245 million deal, the largest total contract for a pitcher at the time, though the Yankees soon surpassed it with Garrett Cole. Given his history of injuries and that he was aging, this was a huge risk from the start. His first season under the new deal was disappointing. In a shortened season, injuries delayed his start until August, and he pitched just 2 games before needing surgery for carpal tunnel syndrome, which would end the season. In 2021, he made 2 starts before going on the DL with right shoulder inflammation, and after being activated, he made 3 more starts, but returned to the DL on June 2nd with a neck strain. And on July 27th, it was announced he would undergo surgery, thus ending his season. In 2022, Strasburg was activated on June 9th and made 1 start, giving up 7 earned runs in 4.1 innings, and he returned to the DL 5 days later with a stress reaction in his ribs. And on July 14th, he was moved to the 60-day DL and did not pitch again that season. In 2023, Strasburg did not report to spring training due to a nerve-related setback, and on June 3rd, he was shut down from all physical activity because of severe nerve damage. He had a rib and 2 neck muscles removed in an attempt to address the injury. And on August 24, 2023, reports stated that he planned to retire. A press conference was planned, but did not happen because of disputes between Strasburg and the Nationals over contract payments. And Strasburg would officially retire on April 6, 2024. The Nationals agreed to pay the remaining salary on his $245 million contract, which was unsure. And due to injuries, he only made 8 starts and pitched 31.1 innings after signing the contract, posting an ERA of 6.89. This is the reason this contract has been described as one of the worst in baseball history. But it shouldn't undo the decade Strasburg gave the team. Coming into the majors, he had more hype than any pitcher seen before, and his first month was electrifying. But he would end up suffering a fate that's normal amongst pitchers now, but his is amongst the most disappointing. In the limited time he was healthy, he was amongst the best. He has the 7th highest F4 amongst all starting pitchers in the 2010s, despite finishing 29th in innings pitched. He's also one of 12 to record 1,500 strikeouts in the decade, with the 3rd highest K/9 among starting pitchers, with at least 1,400 innings, only behind Max Scherzer and Chris Sale, 2 likely future Hall of Famers. So with better health, he was on his way to the Hall of Fame, with talent that rivals many in Cooperstown. It is unfortunate that the final contract left many with a bad taste, but it's almost like he sacrificed his career for that 2019 season and $245 million. But in the end, the good times will be what most remember. As it summarized with, he wanted to pitch, but his body would not let him. But when his body did let him pitch, it was electric. Hopefully you liked this video, and if so, please consider liking and subscribing for new videos every week. Thank you.